Come on, let's talk about it on Tell It Like It Is. Brother Jamil
I'm
and
here.
Del Castro Powell. Good afternoon, mother. We're going to talk about a real good subject today. And we hope that y'all chime in with some of your words, some of your experiences. What's up to my brother James Williams?
Hey, what's going on?
What's up, James? Yeah.
All right. Here we go.
Let's go.
Again.
Hey, Gloria.
Jamil Salib Zamir, the big homie. Introduce yourself.
And Del Castro Powell.
Sincerely thanking everybody for tuning in, man. Listen, we're going to talk to you all today about something very, very important. It's been on my heart so long, man, till my heart is so heavy that I am battling dis-ease in my body right now. And if any of you know what dis-ease is, I'm battling disease. I'm very, very ill at this point today, man. But I gotta try by God's permission to bring it. I want to spread some love to everybody, man. I love y'all sincerely for tuning in. I love y'all for sharing the information. I love y'all for giving us some moments out of your time.
Yeah.
And I hope we will begin to spread this information because I promise you, God willing, this is what we're doing right here, myself and Dale.
Man.
10 years from now, if you listen to what's being said, we won't have to go over this bridge again.
Nope.
It'll already be crossed.
Yes, sir.
I remember 10 years ago, I was telling people about apple cider vinegar, Bragg's vinegar, Dale.
Yeah.
And how it helps with diabetes and blood pressure.
And weight loss.
But that was like talking foreign.
Right.
And now everybody and their mama dealing with apple cider vinegar, but here's the downside.
What's up, Anthony?
Walmart got it now.
Yeah.
And when Walmart gets it, and unfortunately when the USDA put a stamp on it, they don't give you as much of that stuff at the bottom.
Nah.
It's called the mother.
Yeah.
That stuff was stacked up, looked like dirt at the bottom of
Yeah.
your. Now they give you a teeny little bit,
Yes,
and
sir.
they classify it as organic, but it's not organic anymore.
Exactly.
So when information is being given from great people, I am praying that we will begin to accept the information right off the bat. So let's get right into it. The subject for today, impulse. How our children are being affected by it. We're going to go into some biblical scripture. I'm going to go in directly and read this right now. If you got your Bibles with you or you got your brain Bibles with you, Proverbs 20:25 through 30. Depending upon what scripture you're reading, there are almost 81, maybe 90 different books of the Bible translated in different ways to make it plainer for people. I'm going to read it. 25 through 30, it says, an impulsive vow is a trap. Okay. Later, you will wish you could get out of it. After careful scrutiny, a wise leader makes a clean sweep of rebels and dolts. Look it up. God is in charge of human life, watching and examining us inside and out. Love and truth from good leaders. Sound leadership is founded on loving integrity. Youth may be admired for vigor, but gray hair gives prestige to old age.
Oh, man.
So you can admire the young folk for one thing and admire the older folks for something else.
Exactly.
A good thrashing purges evil, and punishment goes deep within us. We are talking today about impulse, and we're going to go into movies.
Yep.
We're going to go into music.
Yep.
We're going to go into food. We're going to go into the Garden of Eden and the mindset today, Dale.
Yep.
And we're going to take you deep into what's going on inside of yourself. That thing that you can't hide.
Right.
Because you can dress up real good and go out, and people will think you blessed and highly favored.
Oh, yeah.
But when you get home and your stomach hurting and you can't sit still because you got anxiety and all of these other issues,
yes, sir.
God knows all of that.
Exactly.
So that impulsive behavior is affecting generation after generation after generation. Now, you want to go ahead with something real quick?
Sure. Let's do the research on what we do and how we live does affect our children. I'm a firm believer in that. The research. Children do inherit some traits from their parents. Then parents create the environment that the child is raised in.
Right.
And heavily influence intelligence and personality by the way they interact with their child as the child grows.
Right.
They prepare him or her for life as an adult, either directly or indirectly. Why the role of a parent is so important to child development. Much research has placed a great emphasis on the role parents play in their child's development. Parents are not only caretakers, but they are instrumental in the development of their child's social, emotional, conjunctive, and physical well-being. Good parenting is important because what you teach and show your children when they were young will help mold them into a well-rounded grown-up.
Mm-hmm.
Love and affection is the most important skill to bringing up a healthy, happy, and successful kid.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Very clear. Now, I want to go into Ecclesiastes also 11 and 9. Because I love to bring the Bible into play because we're in the Bible Belt, Dale.
Mm-hmm.
And you can talk all you want to talk, but if you don't know nothing about the Bible,
yeah, say that.
People don't want to listen to you. You know what I mean? You can do some real good Bible thumping, but I prefer to do teaching because that's the level that God put me on. Exactly. You are a teacher too.
Right.
God put you on that level. Some people can preach well. I think Antonio Green is one of the better younger ministers in preaching the word. That's just my opinion, and I'm not biased about it.
He's sharp, Antonio Green, man.
But I think he takes a little bit and make a lot out of it, like Jesus did with the fish, you know, and the bread. He multiplies a little bit into a lot that you can continuously research and make something valuable out of. So I like that, man.
Right.
I like people who can take the knowledge that they've been given and use it in a way to educate others. Right. We're going into Ecclesiastes 11 and 9. It says, rejoice. Check this out, Dale.
Okay.
And then we're going to talk about this thing now.
Okay.
It says, rejoice, man, during your childhood. Have a good time.
Okay.
And let your heart be pleasant during the days of your young manhood.
Right.
And follow, check this out, the impulses of your heart and the desires of your eyes. Mm-hmm. But listen to the disclaimer. Mm-hmm. This is what God is saying. You can follow it.
Right.
Then he says, yet know that God will bring you to judgment for all these things. Every single thing you do, every single thing you think, every single act that you perform. There are people out there telling you and I, forget about it and God will wash it away.
Right.
God didn't say that.
No.
God says he searches your heart. He searches the reins of the heart. Okay. And finds out the individual who they are sincerely inside.
Right.
That's a part. I can't read your heart, Dale.
No.
You might be sitting right beside me plotting to rob everything in here.
Right.
All I know is that right now I feel that you're good people.
Right.
But I don't know your heart.
Right.
But God knows your heart. So God says whatever we do, follow the impulses of your heart if that's what you want to do. That's your choice. Mm-hmm. And that's the greatness of God, Dale. Mm-hmm. From the beginning, he gave us choice.
Okay.
I talked to a sergeant in the military. He used to call me all the time. And he said to me, the one thing I don't like about religion is it don't give you a choice. I said, who told you that? I said, the book I read, God said, I'm putting you in this garden. Mm-hmm. There's a tree of life. There's a tree of the knowledge of good and evil. You make the choice.
Right.
What you want to do and how you want to do it. I'm not going to stop you. But there is a consequences to what you do and how you do it. So it says, yet know, follow the impulses, yet know that God will bring you to judgment for all of these things. Now, today we want to talk about impulse. Mm-hmm. We want to talk about how Satan is encouraging impulsive behavior.
Yes.
And how the chemicals in the food, in the water, in the drugs is manufacturing an impulsive generation that lack self-control, they lack self-awareness, they have no self-worth, and they lack the knowledge of themselves.
Exactly.
All of this is being done right up under our nose.
Some of it in our own homes.
In our homes.
Right.
Some of us at our own hands. Mm-hmm. Some of our parents will not say, listen, to ourselves. You ain't got to tell nobody. Right. Just to yourself. I know I made mistakes. I know I did things wrong. I know I shouldn't have slept with that person. I know I shouldn't have did that.
Exactly.
God, help me find a way to forgive myself and to ask you for forgiveness and prove to you that I am repentant.
Right.
See, we like to tell people when they die, they go straight to heaven. Mm-hmm. And they are saved because they said on their deathbed they believe in God. That's dangerous. Why? Because you don't have a chance to prove that what you say is true.
Exactly.
If you telling me that you're going to stop drinking and you die, how the hell I know you're going to stop drinking? You dead.
Right.
But if you live, Dale, and you prove to me that you have stopped drinking, then I can say, Dale, straight up dude. He kept his word.
Yeah.
Dale ain't drink in 20 years.
Right.
Now let's get into the definition of impulse, because this is important.
Man.
Impulse, a sudden, strong, and unreflective urge or desire to act. A driving or motivating force, an impetus. Now, what is an impetus? Very important. Impetus is the force or energy with which a body moves. Hey, baby, how you doing with your fine ass? You like that woman, so you move your body to what you talking about? Right. And you just sticking your behind out. You want to show this man, yeah, I am fine. It ain't just fine in the back. I'm fine in the front, too. Right. He said the right thing. He utilized impetus to get you to move in the direction that he wanted you to move because he getting them draws tonight.
Right, right.
The force that makes something happen or happen more quickly. That's manipulation. That's what we use on ourselves. That's what we use on our children. Now, synonymous with that, motivation, stimulus, incitement, incentive, inducement, inspiration, encouragement, and boast.
Okay.
Most of the ministers that we love today are not ministers of the gospel. They are motivational speakers.
Okay.
They are able to get you to move in the direction they want you to go, Dale.
Okay.
By using wordplay. That's why everything that comes out of a person's mouth that has a big following is something positive.
Right.
Everything is positive, spoken, but it's not necessarily positive.
Exactly.
Because if I have gone through something that you haven't gone through, and you and I have just been talking about that.
Exactly.
We all go through different experiences. God speaks to me different than he speaks to you.
Exactly.
But our destination is the same. You trying to get to a place called heaven, I'm trying to get there too. But God speaks to me different than he speaks to you.
Right.
You trying to get to Sumter, which way you going, Dale?
Right.
You going 378? I'm going to go the Old Manning Road.
Right.
Are both of us going to get to Sumter, though? Yes, we will get there. We traveling different roads, but we going to make it to Sumter. So today, I'm going to show you how impulse is taking us way off the path. And Dale is going to include himself in that.
Right.
You got something else for me?
Yeah, man. Basically, the tied up in a nutshell is what you said, man, is how we live. And we set the standards for our children. And that's a known fact, because if a child sees a lot growing up, it's going to have effect on their life.
That's right.
I don't care what nobody says.
That's right.
People love to say they forget about the past or do this. You cannot forget about some of the past.
That's
when
right.
Things happen. You got children. It's a phobia.
Right.
And the phobia is fear.
Right. That's right.
You know, as coming up, we try to instill that fear in them for respect.
Right.
And to always honor them. And then when they get over that phobia as they get older, they don't honor no more.
No.
They're not afraid of you no more.
That's right.
You know?
That's right. You're right on point. That's talking about that impetus. That's what they're using. They're trying to keep you in fear.
Right.
To follow parents, to follow what they say.
Exactly.
Yeah, go ahead. That's good.
For the number two fact of the world, when I say this, is that a lot of things that your child, we do create the environment. If we put our child in harm's way, they're going to get adapted to harm's way.
Right.
They're going to get used to harm's way, and they're going to think that's the way it is.
That's right.
A lot of times, the parents that stood strong behind their children and try to show them positivity growing up in life, that's what that kid knows. Going back to what you're saying, we haven't been through the same things.
That's right.
But if you grew up in a negative household, and you're trying to make yourself positive, your negative background gonna always try to bring you back.
Oh yeah, somebody's gonna slide something in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dale all right now, but I remember when Dale used to. And now all of a sudden there's a problem where there wasn't a problem.
Yo, I still get that from family members. You know, they'll try to act like they'll act like they love you and you're the best thing in the world, and then they kicking your back in on the low.
Right.
They don't want to see you go nowhere.
Right.
They really don't want to see you happy, and a lot of times they're not happy.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna read this real quick, man. Go ahead and finish.
And James said, "Amen."
Yeah, read that. That's what
James Williams. He said, "Amen." They help you 10%. And use you 80%. It's called pimping in the church.
Right. Listen,
shout out.
He's right on point with the mindset of youth today. And Dale and James is our age, right?
Yeah, James is in our bracket, yeah.
But his mindset, like our mindset, we still relate to young people.
Exactly.
We are right on point. I mean, I can't beat most of them because they're too fast.
Right.
They're too strong.
Right.
But my mindset is similar to theirs.
Right.
And I'm talking to you, James, right now. I just read an article about why young people are leaving the church. They don't want nothing to do with that type of religious format anymore, because of exactly what you're saying right now. They are seeing not what all ministers are doing, but what the seasoned ministers, those who know better, are constantly using this word impetus.
Part of what we're
The
talking
force
about.
or energy that moves the body. They're constantly pimping with their words and using young people and turning young people very, like you said earlier, you can hold them down until the fear goes away.
Yeah, the phobia.
Once the phobia leaves,
that's a wrap.
That's a wrap, bro.
It's a wrap.
They're going to become a beast.
Right.
And the example of that, why I like what you said so much, Dale, is that in the book of Genesis, when God left the symbolic Adam and Eve in the garden and their symbolisms, he left them literally with a phobia.
Yeah.
Don't do
that.
Don't do it.
Don't do that.
And I ain't going to tell you again, but once Satan came in, Satan is the soothsayer.
Right.
He came in with impetus. What? God said, don't do what?
Man, go ahead and eat.
Oh, come on. He just don't want you to know what he knows.
Exactly.
Right? And what is already in you and I, and it's in everybody, I don't care who it is.
Right.
We've got a desire and an impulse.
We do.
Desire fuels the will. Desire fuels the will to follow the impulse. I'm looking at your wife, Dale. I'm talking this is just an example.
Right.
You and me hang out every day.
Yeah.
I know Dale ain't worth a damn.
Right.
So now, instead of me staying away from your house, I'm going to start hanging around your house. Here I am. Dale here. I know you ain't home. I know you ain't home because I know where you are.
Right.
But I'm looking at your wife now.
Right.
Next thing you know, I'm saying to your wife, Dale is my man and all, but I don't like the way he treating you.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that he's sleeping with this girl over there. But I ain't telling her that for her benefit.
Yeah.
I'm telling her that because I want to get in her drawer.
Exactly.
That's how impetus works.
Impetus
The
is
motivation to make you, encourage you, inspire you, induce you, produce incentive to make you do something that you probably would not have done. That's heavy, huh?
It is heavy.
That's how Satan is working in our children today.
And he's winning.
And that's how Satan worked in these adults who will not admit that they did things yesterday. They don't know nothing.
Even I always have to include, when I say even the families. Even the families, it's really getting to that
that's
point.
What we're talking about.
You know, everybody speak of the last days and this and that, but they don't try to prevent to have the great motive and mind state to survive in the last days.
They're weak.
Do we always have to end everything bad?
No.
Everything have to be ended bad?
No, because the Bible does not end bad because of God. The Bible ends in a way because the people decided they don't want to do damn thing. They don't want to do nothing.
When we talk about how we live affects children, it does. I really think that's a great mind state. I use my 20-year-old son for an example, who grew up in my household with me. Very respectable young man. Very hard worker. Anybody know him, they can vouch for this. Respectable, hard worker. Into his music, you know. You can't get that growing up in a house with a negative man. Am I right?
That's right. You're absolutely right.
You're right.
You're absolutely right.
So when you look at the kids you got with somebody else and people say, oh, you're going to be just like his daddy, but it turns out a whole different show. They're hard workers.
Right.
They're doing their thing.
Right.
You can't get that with a negative person. The influence is there. I see a lot of us want our children, we're comfortable with our children going through anything bad we went through.
Right.
We're comfortable with that.
Man, we encourage it.
Yeah.
That nigga drinking like I drink. I used to drink, man. That's my nigga, man. That's his daddy boy.
Yeah.
You understand
once
what I'm
was
saying?
told, once was said, hey, he ain't going to be shit. So I know, you know, people say things like that. But you have a choice in your life, man, to not even go those routes.
Very good.
A lot of kids are affected.
Good.
They're affected in many ways.
That's very good.
If you watch your mother perform a sexual
Salam
act,
alaikum.
you watch your mother perform a sexual act when you're young, you're performing sexual acts at a young age.
That's right.
You watch your mother perform a sexual act on a woman, you're performing a sexual act on a woman at a young age.
That's right.
A lot of these things will turn out, but people who make their children what they are today, they don't want to take responsibility or accountability.
Right there.
If you're calling me, if you're saying to me that I ain't SHIT,
right,
and I'm your child or whatever, I'm all of these negative things, what does that make you?
Right.
When are you going to take accountability?
Right.
And a lot of parents, they don't.
Right.
How we are affected is you live with that, you ain't gonna be nothing.
Right.
You're like your father, or you're like this, or you're like that, and you grow up with that mind state.
Right.
And in that mind state, we take whatever out the house into the streets.
That's right.
Into our schoolhouses.
That's right.
We can't sit still and behave.
Right.
Because we just got a whooping this morning for something small as going in the refrigerator to make a sandwich.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I can't behave because what's on my mind from my house is still on my mind while I'm in school.
And I got to go back to that.
Yeah.
When I leave school, I got to go back to that.
A lot of bullying comes up. A lot of things come up.
Right.
So we have to start taking responsibility and trying to create the environment for our children.
Right. Responsibility requires thought.
Thought, exactly.
Responsibility requires conversation.
Exactly.
Responsibility is not impulsive. And when you become, let me read this thing again, man, because I don't want to misquote it, Dale.
What's up, Antonio?
It was so heavy. It says, I don't even think I got there yet. Let's just keep going. I'm gonna get to it.
But as I was saying, we create the narrative in our household.
That's right.
And the first thing we do as parents, we try to make phobia, which is fear.
Right.
You know, and there's a lot of parents now that might have didn't make it in life.
Right.
And if their kids made it, they're not happy for their kids.
Fear will wear off.
Right.
The phobia will wear off. And that is the thing, even during slavery, that they banked on.
They're not happy.
Ignorance and fear.
Right.
And once a person who's been enslaved in anywhere, whether it's in physical slavery or in their household or wherever, once they get over that fear that you're talking about, that phobia, you can't control them anymore.
See?
So usually we'll kick them out of the house. But in life, when a person who decides to rebel against the system of things gets over the fear, the only thing that Satan can do with a person like that is kill him.
But it's scary too, Keith, because if they get over that phobia, now you forgot about all the hardcoreness you taught them, right?
Right, that's
you
right.
forgot about all the names you called them.
Right.
You forgot about all the havoc and hell you taught them how to raise.
Right, right.
Then you want them to say how much they love you.
Right, can't do it.
Can't do something they're not taught. You have to instill and teach this.
That's right. I can't call you.
Right.
I can't come back to help you because I don't know any of that.
Exactly. Like my kids, they all grown. I would never disrespect their mothers.
Right.
I would never try to talk down to them about nobody.
Right.
I like my kids to judge things for themselves. And once they can come back and say, Dad, hey, you were right. I don't try to steer their lives with a steering wheel. They don't owe me nothing.
Right.
Because everybody would say, I made you.
Right.
Well, do the research. 95% of people who had their children didn't have them on purpose.
Right. You're right on the
So
head
I wasn't a
with that.
plan.
Right.
It wasn't in a plan. You had me and you was forced to do what you had to do.
And you did
That's
it.
your problem.
Right, that's right.
You see what I'm saying?
That's
and we
right.
got to stop making our kids feel like we owe them for bringing them into this world, because
Like
we
they
really
owe us.
don't.
Right, like they owe us for bringing them in the world.
No,
Right.
you don't. Somebody brought you in the world, you only returning a favor.
Right.
But you gotta give them to understand that when you look at the kid who got shot in the car,
The little boy.
how we live.
This is the whole
rebuttal of that.
This is what
it's based on, too.
incited this whole conversation.
Yeah,
that
he
with the
got
impulse.
killed. He got killed because his parents put him in a dangerous situation.
Right. Actually, the one that got killed, the father wasn't the father of.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the difference.
That, you know what I mean? But
That's
he hit the woman in the leg, and he ended up killing the little boy.
Yep.
And that is what sparked this whole conversation that we're having right now about impulse, about how we behave in front of our children.
We got to.
About the consequences of it, and the person, either he had a mental issue, he was under some type of influence drug-wise, or he was very clear on what he did. Either way, he made a decision to shoot into a car.
It's crazy.
Because when we are the way we are, we don't know how to accept wrong. We don't know how to accept no.
We don't.
We don't know how to accept the things that go contrary to our ego.
They don't.
So the only way we deal with that is that we get angry, we want to fight, we want to bully, we want to do these things that make us not have to be held accountable.
That's why I try to look out of a IC lens.
Right.
That's how I do in life. Don't tell me something about somebody that's just your insinuation of how they are. I got to see it, truthfully believe it.
Right.
Because a lot of times when people are putting dirt on somebody's name or saying the wrong things, they're doing it to make themselves look good.
Right.
Now, out of all of that stuff you told another person about somebody else, how much truth had you told them about yourself?
About yourself.
You haven't. So we always filter out the things.
Right.
You know, like I say, there's a lot of kids that has went through things in this world, man, that we don't discuss, we
That's
don't
right.
know about.
That's
they
right.
hold it in.
That's right.
You know, and like I say, it does affect your children because what you put when you put that hate in your child for the first 7 years,
Right.
that's what that child begins to grow up with.
You put that hate in and you put that neglect in.
They see it.
You neglect them, but then when they get older, like you were saying earlier, you want them to love you to death.
Yeah.
But you never taught them how to
You
love.
can't.
So
You
how am
can't
I
do
going to
that.
give you something you never gave to me?
Yeah.
Now I meet someone in the street, as you were saying earlier, it could be I'm a guy and I meet a guy who shows me love.
Exactly.
Now I love him.
Mm-hmm.
Now you mad at me for being a homosexual, but he showed me love that I never got.
Exactly.
I never felt none of that before.
Right. It's easy.
And even when I come back to you, you don't say, well, I understand. You come condemning me.
It's always a rebuttal, Keith, when you try to tell your parents. I've seen people try to tell their parents the truth. They take no responsibility for anything, any wrong or anything.
Well, I did the best I could.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
maybe you
always
did.
a rebuttal.
But
you know
just
what I mean?
listen to what I'm telling you that you didn't do.
But I'm always, as me growing up, thinking that I gave my kids
and talking, y'all.
giving my kids the life that I thought they should have. Because I always tell them you can't depend on people. Love yourself. Go hard for what you know. Don't let nobody pull you down.
Right.
When I teach my kids, hey, I always tell them whether it's family or whether it's friends, you got to keep doing what you got to do. Pay close attention and stay focused. You kill people, you take the power away from the negative by not allowing the negative to get to you.
Right.
That's how I kill it.
Right.
I've heard plenty of things in my lifetime about myself.
That is something that has to be taught, what you're talking about.
Yeah, I've heard plenty of things about me, but at the end of it, I came in the world by myself.
Right.
I'm going to die by myself.
Right.
So what a person feel or think sometimes, whether they family or not, it don't even matter.
Right.
Because you can't call them up and get nothing from them when they go down. You'll spend so much time working on negativity, you'll forget about your whole lifestyle.
Right.
And you can't do
You're
that.
absolutely right.
You can't do that.
That is the purpose. That's how Satan's job is, to take you off of your intended path.
Right.
That is his job.
Take me off my intended path.
Take you off the path that God has already planned for you. People make this journey sound very simple. Perhaps for some it is, but for most in the world that we live in, with all of this anxiety and turmoil and depression and mental illnesses and drugs and confusion and violence, we can't stay on that path.
Exactly.
Right?
Right.
So you got to surround yourself with people who are able to help you stay on your path. Now, it may be easier for you, like Satan did in the garden.
Right.
What? God said, don't do what?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, man. Go ahead and choose the hard road. The hard road is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Because now you have to see something and make a judgment call.
It's crazy.
Right? I see drugs and money.
Right.
Man, that's a lot of money. I'm going to just do that for a little while.
Yeah.
Right? But then there are consequences to that.
There are.
Now, we said earlier, out of the book, Ecclesiastes 11:9, and it states, and follow the impulses of your heart and the desires of your eyes, if that's what you want to do.
Exactly.
But then it closes and said, yet know, a cautionary, that God will bring you to judgment for all of the things that you do.
Exactly.
So that is all that Satan wanted to do.
Right.
He wanted to make us accountable for every choice we made, knowing that we would run, just like you said.
Right.
We would never say, okay, I was a bad parent. I messed up.
Right.
Right? No, I did the best I could.
Right.
And that's all. No, that's your cop-out.
No.
Why won't you ask me, well, where did I mess up?
I was gonna say this, man. There's a difference in some of our lives. All right. Some of us have got kids in our house.
Right.
Some of us got kids outside our house.
Right.
And we don't have that love look a little bit different. When you look at, and Keith is my man, so I'm talking to my Keith. When I look at little Keith, I see Keith.
Right.
When I look at his other kids, I still see Keith.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I know that there's a lot of us guys, man, that wanted to put them all together and bring them up all together, but it was impossible to do.
Very impossible.
So it's hard to try to get that love out the outside house, because not only some of my absence caused that,
right,
but some of the influence caused it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So mothers, when you sitting there with kids from somebody you're not in love with no more, or you're not with no more,
right,
and you put that influence in your head, and they had at a young age that, your daddy
ain't no good.
it's going to be.
He ain't worth nothing, never was nothing. You ain't going to be nothing.
No, he will spend the next 20 years after he's grown figuring out, hey, my dad ain't like that.
Listen, man, I had a situation, I won't call names. This lady was in the outs with her husband, and she had 2 girls and 1 boy.
Right.
She's the mama, so they see her there.
Mm-hmm.
But every time she gets around other people, she's always talking about the little boy's daddy.
Oh, man.
Right? He ain't no good. He don't do this. And I said to the woman, hey, you probably shouldn't do that.
Right.
Because the only example he got is his dad. Mm-hmm. And all he's hearing is what you saying negative about his dad. You destroying that boy.
Yeah.
Man, that woman got up in my face. Let me tell you something.
Mind your business. I take care of this. It does something, man.
And now the dude is messed up. He's messed up like my youngest son, like Lil Keith is.
Right.
Lil Keith trying to find his way, bro, but he didn't know how to receive love.
Mm-hmm. It's hard.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But the dude is just full of love, though.
Right.
No matter where he go, but he has a drug issue.
Right.
He has a trust issue.
Right.
He has issues that no one can fix, but someone that he's willing to talk to and discuss the situation with. Now, I want to say this real quick. For everybody that's listening statistically,
mm-hmm.
I was reading an article. It's a top story on Google right now. And the topic is, Americans are among the most stressed people in the world.
Right.
Now, if this is the land of milk and honey,
mm-hmm.
the place everybody trying to come to, why are we the most stressed? Why are we the ones under the most clinical depressions and on so many pharmaceutical drugs for ADHD, ADD?
Everything.
Why are we sniffing coke? Why are we smoking marijuana and trying to justify that?
I think a main reason why we're doing all of these kind of things is because we trapped.
Right.
Minds are trapped.
Right.
People don't read no more. You wanna find something. You go on Google. You ain't nobody got no books in their house no more. They got CDs and discs, or whatever the case may be. But we are all trapped, and we all reflection of what we seen in our past, man. People fear the truth because it exposed who they really are. Thanks, James Williams.
I don't mind being exposed. What's up, Calvin? What's going on, man? What's going on, James? I don't mind truth at all. Now, I'll admit to you there's some things I don't ever want to come out.
Me either, but the thing is...
I'll admit to it.
But this is what I look at in life, man. You can't have things to say bad about people, man.
Teach on that, right.
Because ain't nobody put you in heaven yet. You ain't in heaven.
Nobody said you did.
You ain't walking. You're not walking the path.
Right,
You know what I mean? You're talking, Farouk. A lot of people are talking from after they got older.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But when you was
when
out
they tired,
there,
when they burned out.
Yeah.
Right. That's when most of them get to the church.
Right.
They start doing it.
But you can't be in the church. And I'll say this, you can't be in the church still doing the dirt.
Still doing it. Or
you know what
if you like Old Dog on
Minister
Side, he too old to do the dirt.
Yeah.
But he inciting the other young cats to do the dirt.
Right.
You understand what I'm
that's
saying?
what my man was talking about last week. You can't. I don't listen to nobody. Don't come to me talking about you in the church and all that. You still talking bad about people doing the wrong
religion,
thing.
period.
Don't
Not
do
just
that.
church.
Don't do that. Don't play with
anybody who
that's
claims to
Russian
be
roulette.
spiritual or righteous or any of that.
Mm-hmm.
And 1 minute you on social media talking all this righteous stuff, and the next minute you doing this other thing. Right.
Don't do
That's
that.
a whole nother cup of tea. Now, all of these things, different incentives, different emotions that drive our influence or influence us to do something, right or wrong. The scripture says that we will be brought to judgment for them.
Yeah.
Right or wrong.
Yeah.
If you do something right, there is judgment in that.
Right.
God searches your heart and say, oh, Dale did a good thing.
Right.
Right? But check this out, Dale. When you and I were coming up, Farouk, I'm so glad you on the air, brother. Salam alaikum, because this right here involves you.
Right.
There wasn't no social media out there.
There wasn't, nah.
But myself, Tyrone Thames, we had dudes under our wing.
Right, the brothers.
We were showing
Heard
them
about that
We
when
were
I first
showing
got
them
down
how
here.
to do shingles, how to do plumbing, everything we learned, we were teaching it to other people.
Right.
Now social media is present, so you can post it up on social media how you helping people.
Yeah.
And you look like a saint.
Right.
Look like you just been doing this all your life. But we used to do that.
Right.
Day in and day out. Teaching dudes how to do music, how to make songs.
Y'all taught me.
How to do all of that stuff. And because we got it from somebody.
Right.
Ed Aiken, Ron Clavon.
Skeet, Willie White.
Yeah, what is Floyd Blackwell,
God
Wayne
bless
Blackwell.
the dead, Anthony Canny, man.
Anthony
God bless
Canny,
the dead, one of
right.
the greatest singers,
What
man.
What is his name, man? He was under your label for a while.
Shame.
Not Shame, the singer.
Jamie Baxter, or I had Jamie
else?
Baxter.
No, y'all did a show at the middle
Stanley
school. Stanley Dozier.
Yeah.
All of these people that you follow and you learn from and you teach, and then you teach it to another generation. We didn't have no Facebook to show that we were doing that. But we were doing it, though. So that has consequences to it, trying to do the right thing.
Right.
Not just the bad things, but the good things, too. What's going on, Antonio? But listen to this, though, Dale. How does God bring us to judgment? Because some of us think that we have gotten off scot-free.
First of all, do we have a right to judge?
Oh, yeah, we got a right to use discernment. Not to judge. We got a right to weigh a situation. A situation using discernment. I'm glad you asked that question. We're talking about impulse. And we ain't even get into the meat of it yet, and I don't think we're going to finish, but I just wanted
Antonio,
to,
we need you on the next one now. We're going to talk to you.
I wanted to lay the base for it before we get into the real meat of the whole thing.
Go ahead. Hit the bullet point.
Discernment. The Bible says you can use discernment. Discernment is a system of things. I say, man, Dale is looking pretty rough.
Yeah.
Is he sick? Is he on
drugs real bad?
Is he going through depression?
Right.
Now, I can say, Dale look rough. He got AIDS.
Yeah.
I'm judging. I don't know nothing about what's going on with you. But if I come to you and I say, Dale, what's going on? And you tell me, and I say, oh, I thought it was something like that. You broke it down to me. Now, I can use discernment now. I can say, oh, the brother's going through some things right now. I didn't judge you. I used based on the knowledge that I was given of the situation and said, okay, I can see from the way, man, Dale don't usually act that way. He's usually right on point. So he must be going through another spell of his issues, whatever he's going through. That's discernment. Judgment is, I don't know where you work.
Shout out. What's up, Kevin Johnson?
What's going on?
Followed us.
Yeah, what's good? That's good. I don't know where you work, but you work. I never see you go to work. But you're online trading stocks. But I'm going to say, Dale got stuff. He's selling drugs.
Yo, all the things you said, I pretty done went through in my life. Man.
Because they don't see you. People don't see me no more, so they think Keith is up to something. I just told my wife the other day, I said, I throw this book bag on my back every time when I come out this car, and I lock it on my back. I said, somebody's going to say, he got a drugs in there. You know what I'm saying?
I wanted to bring up a valuable point while I got everybody's attention, too, because I was going to have somebody come talk
prayer,
with me.
Ms. Victoria.
One thing I wanted to talk about, how what we do in our house do affect our children, not only what we do in our house, but what we do in our schools. It was brought to my attention by somebody, I ain't going to call no names, that, elementary schools and stuff like that, we go hard. Donuts for dads, grandmamas, boom, boom, boom. We check in on our kids' days off. We go hard elementary school, but we start falling back. And when they get in junior high school and when they get in high school, where they really need it the most. So I just wanted to bring that to a lot of people's attention.
Where the impulses are, influence of impulses are racking them day in and day out because they are not, they're at a point of transition. And rather, a lot of times because our children can do certain things, we say they are grown. But our children are constantly growing. So they could be 30 or 40 years old and you're still steering them in the right direction. You're still trying to help them find work, something they're qualified for, something they can do, something that helps to complement their talents. You do that. That's your job as a parent. You never turn your back on your children. You don't spoil them. You don't keep doing for them. If they get in trouble, let them rot in jail for a few days. It's a known fact.
Like James Williams said, if there's a physical prison, you can bet that there's a spiritual prison. A man reap what he sows.
Absolutely, James.
Man. James hitting us today,
yes, boy. Sir, and I appreciate that, man, because that is right on point. And we're going to get into that topic. Now, I was saying, how does God bring us to judgment for our impulsive behavior? Because some of us think that we got off scot-free with it. We live a well-made lie. We look good. We act good. We got a good job. Our church is growing. Our homes are growing. And we look the part. Well prepared for the world to see us in one way, but not prepared for the way God sees us. So I want us to turn to, I want us to go to Jeremiah 17:9 and 10. I told y'all we going to church. We got to do it. I love the Bible. I respect what the Bible is. The Bible is 75% future. 25% of it has already happened, but the Bible is telling you of things that are going to happen. And the way we look at the book is that it already happened, so we ain't got to worry about none of it. But if you look in the book, it tells you things that are going to happen in the future. What's going to happen in the future. So Jeremiah 17:9-10 says, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? Nobody can but God.
Right.
Who can know the heart but God? Then it says, I, the Lord, search the heart. I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways and according to the fruits of his doings.
Right.
God searches the heart. He don't listen to that mouth of yours that can quote every scripture in the Bible and turn none of that don't matter.
Right.
That's just what they call babble.
Okay.
It doesn't. I think Miss Cynthia Hoylett made a point about that. If I can't understand what you're saying, how's it going to help me?
Right.
It makes no difference.
Right.
Now, impulse, rather good or bad, has a consequence. And some of us get to live a good life, get to live what we call now our best life, after wronging someone. After wronging people, we still live good. It just doesn't seem like we will ever be held accountable, Dale, for our involvement, our influence on decisions and actions of other people. Seem like we just scot-free from it.
Right.
So we never want to apologize, like you were saying earlier. Just as easy as it is to say, I did the best I could, but I apologize.
That's it.
That's it. Not, I did the best I could. Why are you complaining?
Let me catch Miss Wilson when you get done with that one.
I'm almost finished. It says, we never try to fix the situation. Never want to be held accountable for our actions. Rather we did them in ignorance or rather we had knowledge of it. Don't matter. That's like white folks saying slavery happened. Get over it.
We can't get over
it. And then they
that.
Stump their toe and be like, I stumped my toe and I had to have 3 surgeries. What were you doing when you stumped your toe? Well, I was jumping off a building because I love to do acrobatics. Come on, man.
Right.
Listen, it has to be balanced across the board.
Yeah, it got to be
I
balanced.
was at an event in Charleston, black event.
It looked more fun than I ain't going to
Listen, man. White folks were there too, though. And the lady didn't want to be on recording because I was recording her. And white folks are fighting our battles for us still. They are fighting against the pharmaceutical companies. They're fighting against over-vaccinating our children. They're fighting against over-medicating our children. And I'm videotaping this lady, and she was like, I really would rather you not videotape. So I showed her that I deleted the video.
Okay.
But the things she was saying, that is what puts us on the same level. Has nothing to do with color.
Exactly.
It has to do with the mindset of the individual. So I don't want us to get mixed up when I start talking black and white. I'm talking about mindset not color. There's a difference. So anyway, we never want to apologize. I said that part. Now, how does that form of thinking affects the next generation not wanting to be held accountable? Now, you wanted to read. Can you still see what my wife said?
She said she was responding to Victoria's comment.
Oh,
go ahead.
Some of those men don't want to be there, and those that do, the mother stopped the father from being there, have seen and experienced it. Right. Okay, exactly.
And it plays an effective part on a child because sometimes some of those women don't want those men involved in their child life because that's a punishment.
Right, but that is causing what we talked about earlier, and I encourage people to go back and
listen. Some
of
them confused. They might don't even know who the father is. There's a lot of reasons. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You got to look at the circumstance too. You know?
Right. We're talking about impulse, and we haven't gotten into the whole meat of the thing. We are laying down the base for it. But we talked about the word impulse, a sudden, strong, and unreflective urge or desire to act, a driving or motivating force, and impetus. Then we talked about the word impetus, the force or energy with which we're trying to show you where God left us in life and why everyone is under a constant trial.
Right.
And that trial is your individual journey to God.
Yeah.
And no man or woman can tell you that you are blessed without knowing what's in your heart. You can act your way to a lot of things. As we said on last week, the whole world is Hollywood now.
Oh, yeah.
This is acting. This is the acting couch. Remember how we used to look at singers and movie actors and it looked like they never aged?
Yeah.
Because they put on
everything.
all that makeup and all these lashes and look like their hair was so long. We didn't know they were wearing extensions then.
We didn't know that.
We didn't know none of that. No. We didn't know it until Hollywood came to us. Now everybody is Hollywood. Everybody looks the part, acts the part.
Right.
The stimulation that is used to cause us to become impulsive and have to reap the punishment or reward from the things we do. It's like a person drinks alcohol and don't drink enough water, and their skin rebels against
dries
them,
out the
and
skin.
they look dry and they look dead and right.
Right.
That is the result of that.
Right.
So when I see you, I can say, "Oh, he's drinking too much." Hey, Dale, you should drink. And I'm using you as an example, not because you do that, but we're talking to each other. We're bouncing. Hey, Dale, you should drink more water.
Yeah.
I actually did a commentary when one of the brothers from Crosstown died from drinking.
Right.
I can't remember his name. And I was telling the brothers, man, look, drink, when you drink that much.
Drink that much water.
Drink that much water.
Right.
Drink Gatorade. Drink Pedialyte to rehydrate yourself, rehydrate your kidneys.
Exactly.
I was the devil when I did that.
Oh, yeah.
But if somebody loves you, they're going to tell you something that is beneficial for you, rather you take it or not.
Nobody ever wants the truth.
You can't stomach it. That's fine, but I'm going to say it anyway because I got to say it because it's on me because I know better.
Right.
You know better.
When you know better, you do better.
You do better. You were eager to start doing this because you had a lot to say based on what you've been through.
Right.
Where are we? We're talking about impulse. I don't want to go too far because I know I had a lot. We talked about rather good or bad. We talked about not apologizing, not fixing the situation, and not thinking that that affects the next generation, thinking that we can hide the things that we did, and wondering why the children are the way they are today because we have conveniently forgotten what we did yesterday.
Exactly.
So now all of a sudden, I don't know what's wrong with these children. Walk around with their pants sagging, they lying, they stealing, they cheating, they selling, they doing these drugs. What's wrong with them is the same thing that was wrong with us.
Yeah.
Same thing that was wrong with our parents.
Damaged people.
We are damaged people.
Right.
And I know somebody going to put up there, hurt people. Okay, that's true.
Fakul said, "True love don't
you know
want
that's
to
Willie.
be accepted."
That's Willie now.
Shout, what's up, my man?
Yeah, that's
I got to get with
Farouk.
him. Yeah, I remember.
True
Farouk.
love don't want to be accepted. Right.
That's true.
That is a painful thing. Why? Because God is love.
Right.
And I want to make that very clear. As I said on last week, most of us are actually devil worshipers and don't even know it.
If you look at things now, man, hate overrides everything.
Everything.
Everything
the
you
haters.
do.
Everything is hated.
And I don't think real fact should be a form of saying somebody's hating. Facts is even being hated.
Right.
Hated now. Everybody say facts.
Yeah,
Nobody wants to deal with it.
It's being hated. So what we're going on right now, Dale, is impulse. We read a little piece of the Bible and actually think we know everything about the book. So now we want to be the top teacher of the book. And if things don't fall in line with the way we say it, we saying everybody a devil but us, but me. Hey, I don't know what God told you to say.
Right.
I don't know how God told you to say it. So it is not my job to say that what you're saying is not from God. I don't live your life. I don't know.
Right, exactly.
If I don't want to hear what you have to say, I can simply turn you off.
Exactly.
And not listen.
Have a right to that.
Right,
you know?
But to come on and talk derogatory statements and little sly comments about another person's view of God because it's not the view that you see of God. And that's why our children are leaving the church because they see God differently, Dale.
Children are leaving a lot of things. They don't want to be active and participate in none of the generational stuff that we have done.
I'm glad you said that.
They don't.
I'm glad
their
you said
attention
that.
is not there.
No,
and you know,
it could be though.
Like I was telling you, when we have functions and stuff, the first thing we do when we got kids, what we do, y'all, we buy all the sodas and juices in the world.
Right.
But we expect them to sit there and have a conversation and listen.
Right.
They can't listen.
They can't.
They're
wide open.
Sugar. You know
We're talking about that impulsive behavior and what is making our children impulsive. And unfortunately, we only have about 15 more minutes. I want to go into this. Numbers 14 and 8 of the King James Version of the Bible. Y'all listen to this very closely. Because for everything that you can find in the Bible that says go left, you can find another one in there that says go right.
Okay.
This is the balance of the book. And it is also the corrupt hands that have touched the book. The Bible is corrupt now.
Right.
Because of the people who touched the book and wrote in the book things intended to enslave people. Like you were saying earlier, to phobias, to create phobias in us that we won't question anything.
Exactly.
I got to tell you a quick story.
Go ahead.
Can I tell
I want you to break it down because we don't never get to break down all the elements.
I got to tell this story, man. A friend of mine, he's passed away now. He had a friend.
Okay.
These people had mental issues, but they were functional. They worked, you know, like a little mentally handicapped, but they had their own place and everything like that.
I know what you're talking about.
And they joined a church right there in Sumter. They joined a church. And they were going to counseling to the minister in the church. They were having marital issues. The minister told the man and the woman in the counseling session that he could help their relationship. True story. You want to know how he could help their relationship? Because he is so holy, he needs to sleep with this man's wife.
Story.
Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying to you now.
Go ahead.
It hurts me every time I think about it, and it really ticks me off. The man didn't know what to do. The woman didn't know what to do, so she capitulated and accepted the offer, slept with the preacher. Sometimes the man would bring his wife to the preacher, and the preacher's married now. Sometimes the preacher pull up in the front yard and toot the horn, and the lady would go to him. It got to the point where the man and the woman, husband and wife, got so messed up in the head, man, they got separated and had to seek more counseling. But they went to this brother that passed, Brother Curtis Muhammad from Sumter, God rest his soul. And he brought the situation to me. I couldn't handle it because I didn't know what to tell him. But my point is, self-appointed holiness.
Okay. Yeah, that's the deep one.
And that is in homes. Because parents think because they had the child that they're always right and the child is always wrong.
No.
Same thing in the church why young folks are leaving because we think we're always right. And they don't know what they're talking about.
Exactly.
But they do know. And the reason they know is because they're chosen by God.
Right.
And because they are so confused with the preacher telling them they don't know nothing, the example that I'm giving you, and the streets confusing them, they're losing their promised land in this world confused, acting on impulse, Dale. Because they don't know who to trust. They don't know what to do. And they don't know how to go about making the things in their mind a reality. You and I suffered that. Talented people. Needing help from our parents, help from the community to go further with our talents. But because we couldn't get it, where we end up. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Doing impulsive things. Acting like we were successful when we were not.
Exactly.
Mentally damaged. You mentally damaged, Dale.
Yeah.
I'm mentally damaged, bro. Because we thought doing the right thing would get the right support, but in opposite.
Exactly.
It got negative talk from people. Negative words from people. The same people, Dale, that has done worse than we have done in life, bro. And go to church every day or go to whatever religious institution they have joined and convince themselves that they are no longer guilty of their sins.
Man, that's crazy.
So it is our fault. Don't know what's wrong with them young folk. Our fault. Why you think these children listening to this filthy music, bro? Why you think they're bringing out the worst of themselves and don't care who likes it? This is by design.
They do not care.
This is the same Satan, the same wickedness described as a snake at the beginning, Leviathan in the middle, and a dragon at the end. And at the end of the book, Satan is waiting to devour the woman's child.
He's already working.
I'm going to get him.
They're getting him.
Numbers 14 and 18, the King James Version of the Bible. Check this out for all of you who think you ain't held responsible for nothing. And I personally warn from what I believe to be God's spirit, all ministers to stop teaching that no one is held accountable and they should forget their past. Your past is your power. Don't live in your past.
Don't live
but don't forget it either. Because now you can relate to people because you were there. Now I ain't going to say to Dale, man, you just weak, bruh. I'm going to say to Dale, bruh, I've been through that.
Yo, that's real.
Let's go to this here. I see some things. Victoria Duke says, we just have to stay prayed up and pray before we do everything. Agreed. But prayers without works
will be in vain.
Will be in vain. So prayer is first. And then a strategic plan is next.
Right.
And then in the midst of the planning is prayer. In manipulating the plan is prayer. And in the completion of the plan is more prayer.
Exactly.
Because what happens to us is, as God says in the Holy Quran, says the minute I get you across the ocean that you were praying for me to get you across, you associate other gods with me. Now all of a sudden everything is a god besides me, and all you were calling on before was me. And I got you over to the other side.
Right.
And when I got you over there, you got relaxed and you got impressed by what people had and what they can do for you. And they whispered in your ear like Satan did to the mythical Adam and Eve and made you to make an impulsive decision. And what we said about that impulsive decision, Dale, can I read it one more time?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to slide all the way back up here.
Yeah.
It says in Ecclesiastes 11:9, it says, rejoice, young man, during your childhood, and let your heart be pleasant during the days of your manhood, and follow the impulses of your heart and the desires of your eyes. Then here comes the disclaimer.
Give me a disclaimer.
Yet know that God will bring you to judgment for all of these things. Now, we down in Numbers 14 and 18, traveling in the book. And in the book, there is good news, but in the book, there is constant warning. Numbers 14 and 18. Numbers means that the world is growing.
Okay.
Different tribes, different families. And a warning comes. The Lord is long-suffering and of great mercy, forgiving iniquities and transgressions, and by no means clearing the guilty, visiting those same iniquities of the fathers upon their children unto the third and fourth generation. Means you get away with nothing.
Oh, man.
Only way that you get away with something is, as Victoria was saying, you pray at the beginning, you act on the prayer,
and you can change those things.
And you can change those things. And you can use your life as a teaching tool.
Right.
I've been through that. Let me tell you what happened. I've been through that. Let me tell you how I got through it. Don't hold back nothing.
Right.
We in a private meeting.
But we don't.
No Facebook Live.
Right.
No social media. I got these young dudes in my house and I'm hitting them with it. You want to talk? Let's talk. But I don't have to advertise to the world that I'm talking to the children. That's none of your business.
Exactly.
You see what they become after they get the knowledge and what God allows them to be.
True.
I don't even know, like you said, we don't deserve no pat on the back. We sold
We do, man. Exactly. Your boy Antonio Greenback.
That's my man.
He said, God parted waters more than once. The first time it was the Red Sea, but the people forgot and didn't keep any proof of it.
Right.
So the next time he parts the Jordan, but he instructed them to gather. And you got to
He instructed them to gather rocks from the middle of the river,
so
that they can always remember their past. When you forget your past, you're doomed to repeat it. Absolutely on point, as always. I appreciate that, Minister.
Do we repeat it and then we don't know that we're repeating it?
Well, when things become cyclical, and you can hear people talk about this all the time, and they say the same cliche. I don't know why these things keep happening to me.
Okay, gotcha.
You're going through the same thing over and over again, just with a different person.
Gotcha.
Most of the time, we are attracted to the same situation because we have become accustomed to that. There's a name for it. We're in a cycle of pain.
But one thing about that pain, though, when I look at Patricia Garrison say she thinks it's about her past and cry about her kids, and
she said what?
She said about when she thinks about her past with her children, it brings her to tears.
Wow, where's that? Oh.
Yeah.
Talk about it. You got me in tears thinking, oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
That's my people. That's one of my stepmamas from back in the day. But the thing is,
yeah, you feel it.
When you can feel that pain, because that pain will ride.
That's God.
It would ride from the time you're 3 years old up until you 50 years old to you 60 years old.
Right.
You know, Barbara Wilson said, in order to create the change in our future for our children is to have a discussion such as this with persons that don't agree with you, make a true change.
That don't agree with you to make a true change.
It does, because sometimes
you gotta be a warrior.
And sometimes your children, if you're not careful, like she said, building awareness. If you're not careful, your children will look at that other great man outside that house or that great woman as their real parents.
Right.
That brings them peace.
They forgot.
They want to forget.
And that's what happened with the children of Israel in the Promised Land, because Moses wasn't allowed to enter it.
Right.
But there were other messengers and prophets, people of God that went in with the children. And when you stop teaching the children of their past. They don't know them 40 years that Moses was in the desert with these people who rebelled not only against him but against God, that weren't satisfied with nothing. They don't know nothing about that.
Didn't Moses split? Was Moses the one split the Red Sea?
Moses parted the Red Sea. Antonio.
Yeah, Antonio, if you watching, didn't Moses split the Red Sea? Parted the Red Sea? Because I see he said something about somebody else on there.
That's right. He certainly did, because Pharaoh was chasing him.
Okay.
And they were trapped between Pharaoh and the Red Sea, and he raised his staff, which is esoteric knowledge, him raising his staff.
Okay.
Also, parting the Red Sea is more esoteric knowledge. It's a high knowledge.
Okay.
The higher you go in the Bible, the more you understand the book. What happens with us is that we stay on one level of the book and we take everything literal.
Okay.
The children are being born on a higher level of knowledge. They're being born into science.
Okay.
So they're looking at the science side of things. That's why they know how to make chemicals and do things. They can make a drug in a heartbeat.
Yep. Antonio said yes.
Right.
We correct.
So
Thanks, Antonio.
so that is what it is. That is how it is. And I ain't mean to come down on you, Antonio, like you the only person to know, but you the man on the scene, brother.
We had to hit Antonio, man. You know what I mean? Got to keep Antonio Green on.
We're talking about impulse. I want to talk about this, and I guess we're gonna have to close because we're almost out of time. I want to talk about women for a minute, and women sharing their saliva, tongue kissing, and how their nature changes after encountering 4 different people. Because when you swap saliva in any way, you're swapping DNA. You're swapping your genetic makeup.
Okay.
So you got a wife or a male that is stepping out and they kiss a woman, they're swapping DNA.
Okay.
So now my DNA is a part of your wife's makeup.
Okay.
So she in the bed with you thinking about me.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I feel what you're saying.
And she's confused in that. So a lot of people become very, very confused in their mind state after 4 people. And this is why we should never allow our children to be kissing, allow our children to kiss adults. They love to kiss babies in the mouth.
Yeah, I hate that.
They're swapping their DNA into an innocent child, your filthy behind self. You know what you were doing. You know what you did. You know your mindset. And you come and kiss this baby. And you spread, not through words, not through actions, because they don't understand that, but through genetics. You spread something negative to my child.
Right.
The science of this thing, Dale, is what Satan has studied. He has studied the science of the mind. And in studying the science of the mind, he understood every single move to make to control people through impulse. The first experiment in spiritual registration was in the Bible, in the Garden of Eden. That was a experiment to see if something could make you go against what you know was good for you.
Okay.
Right? I'm gonna try you to see if after all God did for you, you would listen to someone who never did nothing for you. So now after a parent has raised their children for 18 years, that child will come home and say, you never did nothing for me. My boys in the street, they're my real family.
Right.
But what have they done for you? Nothing.
Nah, and they not going to do nothing.
But you are ready to come home and rob me, kill me, your parent, for them dudes.
Yeah. It happens.
That is the experiment.
It happens.
That is the trial, and that is what we are under today, and that is why our children are behaving the way that they are, because they are under the microscope of satanic rule. Impulsive.
We're losing them.
People become more and more insecure when they begin to swap different DNAs. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
They become more insecure. They become anxious. They begin to suffer from anxiety. You ever known a pretty girl that always looking down at herself?
Yeah.
Or looking in a mirror?
Yeah.
Because now she's swapped so much different DNAs from different men, they're like demonic spirits in her. So she got to begin to look like a different person for each one of these spirits.
That's real.
When I saw her, she was cooking over the stove with some booty cutters on, with no makeup.
Right.
She got to be that when I see her.
Right.
But when that dude over there saw her, she was in the club.
Regular.
Yeah, with the weaves and the hair. She was different. Now she don't know how to be or who to be, so she's constantly anxious. And I'm not just saying she. I'm going to make this clear. We're going to close on this and let you say what you got to say. But people become anxious. They become psychologically sick. They can't stop looking at themselves, trying to look or appear to be perfect all the time. Won't go outside, bruh. Unless they got on a bunch of clothes.
Do we do that on live, too?
Huh?
Is Facebook our digital mirror?
Man, that's it. That is the digital mirror. I love everybody. I want to say, hey, I want everybody to win. No, hey, look, I don't want everybody to win, because in the midst of all of that, Satan is there. Check this out. We're going to close, and I'm going to read this a little bit, then we got to close it. Right. You got the last 5 minutes. The book says children of God are coming to praise God. And then it says Satan came along with him. And out of all of these righteous folks that's going to pay homage to the Lord, the God, none of them recognize Satan in the bunch. God said, oh, Satan, Salaam alaikum. Where you coming from? It's in the book. And Satan says it's in the book of Job. Satan says to God, wa alaikum salam, I'm coming from walking to and fro in the earth, walking back and forth, seeking for souls I can devour. God says, remember I told you how God allows us to be tested by Satan? God says to Satan, oh, have you considered my servant Job? He's an upright man. He good people. Test him. Only thing I'm telling you, don't touch his soul, but go ahead, do what you're going to do. Dang. So God allows the devil to take everything from Job.
Right.
Kill all his children.
Oh, man.
Had his wife tell him just curse God and die because she was tired of seeing him suffering. And Job stuck it out, man. That's us. But that impulse, he didn't succumb to.
That impulse is a powerful thing.
The wife said, curse God and die. He said, you speak foolish, woman. What? I can't do that. After all God did for me.
What?
She was hurting for him. She didn't want to see him suffering like that. It's like our children can curse us easily, Dale. Job couldn't do that to God. He proved himself loyal to the end.
Right.
I can't curse God after all he had done for me. So he wasn't impulsive. That is an example of one who was not impulsive. James says, proud of y'all, stop stepping out in faith, putting in work. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Farouk says there's no university to teach you parenthood, to be a mother or father. We have to look towards those who have experienced righteousness. Right. We have to.
Right.
And Barbara Wilson says, great topic, brothers. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm going to close my part on this, and then Dale's going to close on the rest. The strong person in any exchange, Dale, is the one that dominates.
Okay.
So in my last relationship with my ex-wife, I thought I was the strongest person. I'm talking about me personally now, so nobody won't say I'm judging.
Right. Okay.
I thought I was the strong person because I was the Muslim. I had the knowledge.
Okay.
But she had the power of the street and the don't care attitude.
Okay.
So in swapping our DNA through sex and through spiritual DNA, through love, she overpowered me.
Okay.
Because she was able to go on and do something else, whereas I was stuck in family mode. I wanted my family to work. So she could step out and sleep with a man, and I would know about it, but still accept her back because I wanted it to work. Right. And once she understood that, she had no problem going out doing whatever she wanted to do. She was the dominant one. Okay. So today you see men who work all day, have their wives in beautiful homes, dress their wives well, but you know that you can sleep with their wife anytime you want to.
Exactly.
Am I right or wrong?
You're right.
She will give up that to you anytime you want it.
Exactly.
Because she is stronger than the man who think he's doing right by giving her everything.
All these things.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? And her impulsive nature is stronger. So the dominant one in that will be the one in control. In Atlanta, Georgia, it is a prime example of how men have been emasculated.
Right.
They carrying the bags. they are the ones who are taking care of the babies. And that's who I was in Manning.
Right.
I would paint my wife fingernails,
Right.
ex-wife,
Right.
buy her outfits to wear to go out and be with somebody else.
Right.
But in my mind, I thought I was doing the right thing. That is what you call possession.
Okay.
It's real.
So it doesn't always, it's mental and physical.
Mental, physical, and spiritual.
Okay. And spiritual.
It was, for me, it was on a spiritual level because I thought I was doing the right thing being a husband. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Already knowing that this wasn't my child, but I'm going to leave college and be a husband. I'm going to be a man, do what I'm supposed to do.
Okay.
Without guidance from a man who had been through it already.
Mm.
So I had to learn it the hard way.
Right, right.
And I thank God for it because now I can tell other young men.
Do you regret it?
Heck no. I know that God did not make a mistake with me.
Right.
I know that my ex-wife was doing what she was supposed to do, and I was doing what I was supposed to do. Because if you read the Bible, we're talking about impulse, and we're closing. God told Adam and Eve what not to do. But when Eve accepted it and gave it to Adam, he accepted it. He didn't say, no, I'm not going to do it because God said don't do it. He accepted it. And when God came back and questioned him, then he tells God, oh, it's this woman that you gave me. She made me do it.
Man.
You dig what I'm saying?
Right.
So he rejected a God that gave him everything. Like our children reject us for giving them everything. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad asked, the Master Farad Muhammad asked a question, why do we love the devil? And the answer is because he gives us nothing. You got to think about that for a long time.
Yeah.
For a long time before you understand that, because we'll spend all of our money in Walmart, even though they might be cooking the chicken 3 times and selling it back to you.
Yeah.
Putting stuff on the shelf that should be thrown away. We do it with the Hindus. We buy all this stale stuff from them. Stale gas that destroy our cars, and we go back to them.
Yeah.
Right? Black man do you wrong one time in business, and you putting it all up on the internet.
Yeah.
Well, Keith did me wrong, and I ain't never shopping with black people no more. Impulse and the inability to understand that you're being tested. Black people did my wife and I wrong, too. My wife online, we lost close to probably $50,000 dealing with black people. I ain't never put it on the internet.
Right.
Not one single name did I put on the internet.
Right.
Went to court to take the man to court, and when the judge said, oh, we're going to try to take everything, but he ain't got nothing, I was like, well, just forget it, man.
Oh, man.
Listen, I'm closing. The strongest person in the exchange is the one that's dominant. It could be either the male or the female, and that's what's happening with homosexuality. All of our children are not homosexuals.
Right.
They're being dominated by a person who made their energy feel good.
A lot of women, too. A lot of
so they want to be close to that.
Right.
Like they want to be close to liquor because it made them feel good.
Right.
They want to be close to drugs because it made them feel good.
Exactly.
They feel power in politics, so they want to be there because they got control. It gives them an erection. It makes them excited.
Exactly.
Right? That's where we are in impulse. We didn't get into what's happening with the music and the food and the medicines yet. Probably we'll have a part 2.
We are going to have a part 2.
Go ahead and close out there.
Yo, thanks for everybody tuning in to Tell It Like It Is.
Man, it's real.
When we spoke about the impulse and we spoke about how we live affect our children, it is a true statement and a true fact that how we raise our kids, what they see in our household, will also spill out in the universe out there with them. The known fact that if you spoil a child and you leave this earth and you don't leave them with nothing, they're not going to know how to take care of themselves.
That's right.
They're going to put themselves in harm's way. So the topic of the day is to come with a solution is to do your research and learn how things are affecting us as people.
Right.
And learn how to either deal with it,
right,
and learn how to get that toxic stuff out of your life.
That's right.
Toxic stuff is what's causing diseases in our bodies.
That's right.
It was causing our brains to burn up.
That's right.
And we got to stay focused.
That's right.
I thank everybody tuning in, man. This was a hell of a show today, man.
Real
I learned something.
Hell of a show.
And we coming back with a part 2, man. So
indeed, man.
All y'all, I want to say this too. A lot of y'all piggyback riding off of what we doing.
Go ahead and
we
say
appreciate that.
Yeah.
We seen a lot of shows and a lot of commentaries, but we want y'all to also remember that Tell It Like It Is was that blueprint.
Hey, shout it
give
out.
Give us a little bit of props now. You know what I'm saying?
We still shouting out people.
Yeah,
right?
we still shouting out people. We
Yeah.
want that love back.
Yeah,
You see
give
what
it
I'm
back.
saying?
Give it
And
back,
we don't have
man.
no plan on stopping no time soon,
Yeah.
man. So y'all stay focused, man. Check the 19 report also,
what's
because
up,
Brother
man.
Keith be coming with some topics.
That's right. I appreciate that, man.
All I ask on this show is if you can't say nothing positive, don't say nothing at all.
That's what it is.
Telling it like it is. See you later. We out.
Love y'all.